if you're listening to this right now, chances are you decided when you wanted to hear it, where you wanted to hear it, maybe even what speed you wanted it at. We live in this world of on-demand content.
Totally. It's podcasts, vlogs, streaming. It's the air we breathe now, media-wise.
Exactly. And it's so normal that we don't even think about it.
We don't. But you've got to remember that this whole system where we, the consumer, call all the shots, that was a wild revolutionary idea just 15, maybe 16 years ago.
And that is the perfect reason we have to talk about this incredible time capsule you found. We are diving into a source artifact today. It's a video from June 6, 2007.
Yeah, from a creator named Filip Petrovsky. And the title, translated from Macedonian, is something like, "Before podcasts existed, on June 6, 2007, I anticipated them."
Which is a bold claim.
A very bold claim. But the thing is, this isn't just a lucky guess. What's so amazing about this video is that it captures someone consciously thinking through the shift in real time.
He wasn't just seeing the future. He was trying to, build a little piece of it right there.
Exactly.
So our mission for this deep dive is clear. We're going to unpack this pre-podcast prophecy. We'll pinpoint the moments where the old media model was breaking down and connect what he saw in 2007 to, well, the entire creator economy we live in now.
And it's such a perfect piece of evidence for it. I mean, think about 2007. YouTube was basically a toddler.
Right.
The first iPhone had just been announced. Most people were still getting their news from the TV at 6 p.m. And this guy is trying to explain this new thing without even having the words for it.
I found the words he did use it to be so telling. He couldn't call it a vlog or a podcast. Not really.
The terms weren't mainstream yet.
So instead, he calls it an experimental attempt. An attempt to create a video column.
A video column. That phrase, that tells you everything you need to know about the intellectual jump he was making.
How so?
Well, think about a print column in a newspaper. It's regular, it's personal, it's driven by one person's opinion and voice.
Right. It's about a specific person building authority.
Exactly. He was using that idea, that analogy, to completely bypass the whole model of corporate broadcasting. He jumped straight to independent commentary.
He was basically sketching out the entire idea of a creator. An individual voice becoming a trusted source.
And he drew this really critical line in the sand. He said this format was exclusive to the internet. It wasn't extra content for a TV show. It was born digital.
And that's the key, isn't it? If you're not tied to broadcast towers and schedules, you can completely change the relationship with your audience.
You can change everything.
Okay, so let's get right into his predictions, because the analysis he lays out for the entire media landscape is, frankly, it's startling for 2007.
It really is. His first big prediction was about what we'd now just call digital dominance. He said the internet was going to inevitably replace, or at least really, really shrink the importance of traditional media. TV, radio, newspapers, all of it.
That's a huge call to make in 2007. We take it for granted. But back then, you're pushing against massive entrenched industries and, decades of habit.
Oh, absolutely. And he uses this great phrase. He says, the boom of the internet will be unstoppable. That's not just optimism.
No, that's certainty.
It's a certainty that the tech itself was just superior, that the old model of scheduled, location-based media couldn't compete with something that was instant and global.
Which, I guess, paved the way for his second big point, the shift to two-way communication.
Yes. This is so crucial. He critiqued old media for being a one-way street, a lecture. You just sit there and you receive it, and that's it.
The story's over.
Right. But the internet model, he said, was a conversation. He loved it because it allowed for comments, for feedback, for debate. It turned the audience from just a passive recipient into an active participant.
And that's the engine of all modern engagement, isn't it? It's why creators are always saying, let me know in the comments. But, okay, let me push back on that for a second.
Sure.
This two-way street was a revolutionary idea. But has it become a bit of a double-edged sword? Now we have to deal with echo chambers, online toxicity, all that stuff.
That's a really fair point. I think his 2007 vision was maybe a bit utopian. He was excited about the potential for the audience to have a voice, the mechanism itself.
He couldn't have seen the social side effects.
No, how could he? The algorithms that amplify outrage, the monetization of conflict, that all came later. But his core insight is still true. Without that feedback loop, you don't have a community, you just have a broadcast.
Broadcast versus community. I like that. And that community gets built around the freedom he talks about in his third prediction.
Yes. The triumph of on-demand. This is the one I think everyone can relate to immediately.
He just lasers in on the freedom from a TV schedule. Before this, your life had to kind of revolve around the clock. The big show is at 8 p.m., the news is at 10.
And if you miss it, you miss it. Or you had to, like, program a VCR, which was always a nightmare.
Oh, yeah. He pointed out that on the internet, the viewer is in control. You decide what to watch, and you decide when to watch it.
And that control, that single idea, is the foundation of Netflix, of YouTube, of this very deep dive. Everything.
The economic model completely flipped.
Completely. We went from networks selling the audience's time to advertisers to platforms selling the audience the right to control their own time. His insight from 2007 basically predicted the death of cable TV.
It just took the industry about 15 years to finally catch on.
Yeah. Which brings us to another fascinating part of this source, the context. This wasn't some guy in a Silicon Valley garage. This was being articulated in Skopje, Macedonia.
That detail is so important, and he gives us these little anchors in the video. He verbally stamps the date, June 6, 2007, and even says it's thundering outside.
I love that detail. It just grounds this huge global prediction in a very small human moment. A guy in his room, hearing a storm, and mapping out the future of media.
And he was so realistic about where he was starting from. He knew the internet user base in Macedonia at the time was small. He couldn't go for mass appeal.
Which led him to this incredibly smart audience strategy. Instead of trying to reach everyone, he targeted what he called an avant-garde and intellectual audience.
It's pure niche marketing. Find the early adopters, the people who get it, and let them be your champions.
It's the playbook for building influence today, right? You establish deep authority in a small niche, and the mainstream eventually comes to you.
And his content plan shows that. He planned to cover a huge range of topics: politics, social issues, education. But he also specifically mentioned his own professional field, libraries.
The library connection is brilliant.
Yeah.
In 2007, making a video column about librarianship might sound, I don't know, a little obscure.
A little dry, maybe, yeah.
But today, that kind of professional specialization is the absolute gold standard for building authority online. The financial advisor who breaks down stocks, the chef who only does 17th century recipes, the experts win.
He was basically practicing personal branding before we had a term for it.
And it worked. The proof is in the numbers. He mentions getting 25,000 views in just 3 months. For that time and that region, that's significant. That's proof of concept.
But it's more than the number, right? It's that he knew how it was going to grow. He makes this stunning prediction that the growth would turn from, what was it?
From arithmetic to geometric.
Right. What does that even mean in this context?
It's maybe the most profound insight in the whole video. Arithmetic growth is linear. You add, say, 100 new viewers every week. Steady.
Yeah.
Geometric or exponential growth is when the network itself starts doing the work for you. He was anticipating the network effect.
So it's not just you telling people, it's your viewers telling their friends who then tell their friends.
Exactly. It becomes self-sustaining. He saw that once you hit a certain tipping point, the internet's structure meant the growth would explode. He saw it turning from a hobby into an economy.
Wow. And he even had this little piece of global validation for his local experiment.
Yeah, he mentioned seeing a report on CNN about a TV station in South America that was moving its entire operation onto YouTube.
So that one news story was like the proof he needed. It showed his video column idea wasn't some random thing he was doing. It was part of a huge worldwide shift.
It was. So when we look at this video now, it really is a perfect digital artifact. It's like a fossil that captures the exact moment the audience mindset flipped from passive viewer to active user.
So, okay, let's bring this back. What does this all mean for you listening right now? If you're trying to understand the media world or you're in a meeting about content strategy, knowing this foundation is a huge advantage.
A huge advantage. When you argue for budget to go to community management instead of like banner ads, you're building on that 2007 idea of two-way communication.
When you focus on short-form video, you're serving that need for on-demand convenience that he was talking about.
It just proves that the things you take for granted, the control, the ability to comment, the convenience, these were radical disruptive ideas not that long ago.
And it shows that the big disruptions are often predicted by people on the edges, the ones who are actually playing with the new tools.
So we started this by saying the speaker in 2007 was certain about two things: the death of the TV schedule and the rise of the two-way conversation.
And he was 100% right. History completely proved him correct. Which leads to a really interesting challenge for us, for you, today. If those were the revolutionary ideas then, what part of our digital media world today is set up to be completely replaced by the next big shift in audience control.
That's the question. Is it the algorithm? You know, the fact that a recommendation engine dictates most of what you see. Could that be replaced by something decentralized, something human curated?
Or what about the subscription model, this reliance on paying monthly fees? Could that be replaced by something totally different, like tokenized ownership?
Or even the platforms themselves. Is our dependency on a handful of big tech companies the thing that's waiting to be disrupted?
So think about that. What feels permanent about your media habits right now that might seem completely ancient to someone looking back from 2035? That's the challenge he left for us. The next big thing isn't about more speed, it's always about more user control.
Something to think about.
Well, this was a fantastic find. Thanks for bringing it to us. We'll talk to you next time on The Deep Dive.